So over the last few months, I would say that probably since the war in Ukraine, the shooting in Uvalde, the shootings in Chicago, the shooting at one of our Episcopal churches in Alabama, we've been praying a lot. And we know that prayer is important to Jesus. Jesus prays at his baptism, before choosing his 12 disciples, before the first prediction of his passion at the transfiguration. Prayer is important to Jesus. And prayer was clearly important to Luke because, after all, he collected and presented several stories attributed to Jesus right here in a rather small section of his gospel. What can one find to say about prayer in an environment where it can be used to cover for hypocrisy, an easy mantra to fool the vulnerable? The famous quote, "Our thoughts and prayers are with you." Politicians seem to say it a lot these days to bereaved parents of shooting victims whose children have been gunned down in their own schools, in their own neighborhoods. Because these same politicians fail to do what is just and good. Good trouble. Even the ancients understood that empty prayers meant nothing. And that there was a saying in ancient Greece that said, "Together with Athena, move your own hands also. Do something, don't just pray." But Jesus teaches us to pray so that we could be passive or inoffensive. He did not teach us to pray so that we could be passive or inoffensive. And in the gospel reading for this coming Sunday, Jesus offers a parable about a persistent, or in another translation, shameless neighbor whose audacity to keep asking will eventually get him the help he needs. Jesus teaches us that prayer should be like knocking on your neighbor's door in the middle of the night, demanding a simple loaf of bread. And when the neighbor doesn't want to get up because he is already in bed, Jesus' advice is to keep asking until they give in. What is happening in our world today that requires our shameless persistence in prayer? What is happening in our own life that needs to change? What are we seeking? What are we hoping for? Jesus promises that if we knock, the door will be opened. But we might have to knock hard and often. We might have to ask others to join us. And Jesus invites each of us to pray with the assurance that God is listening. And not only that, but also God is acting on our behalf, ready to respond and to transform our lives and the world around us. Remember, life is hard, the world is hard, but we do have hope, and we have hope in prayer.